Welcome to Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, aka Tags.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days. Hi.
Hi, episode 178.
You sound excited.
I had to pep it up a little bit.
That wasn't pepped up at all.
was
You were
pretty
like,
pepped up.
You were
Pretty pepped
Eeyore,
up.
man. You were like, episode 178.
Nope.
I felt
like I put some effort into that.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
maybe I just, maybe I need to pop my ears.
Yeah, he's sick.
Getting over it. Getting
Yeah.
over it.
Big shout out to our patrons. We did get a donation. I forgot till I saw your note because I wasn't paying attention to my email, but big thank you to Ty. I'm not going to say anything else because PayPal's weird and that stuff, and I'm not going to say any personal information, but thank you for the donation. Very kind of you. And everybody else who supports the podcast through the Patreon. Our Patreon gets you access to After Dark, which is our podcast after the podcast. And, for a cup of Joe, you get to listen to us 4 times a week extra. No, a month. Calm down. Not a week. Good Lord.
For $20 a week.
Not happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you everybody for supporting the podcast. You're awesome. We love you. How was your week?
Yes, we do. I had a good week. I caught a virus at I think it was just before actually our last episode, but it was all like, in the face and stuff like that. Couldn't control. My eyes are like weeping like crazy and all that kind of stuff, but it's almost gone. But it moved to my back and it was like, that is the biggest water bottle on the planet.
My kids used up all my normal size water bottles, so this is what I'm using this week.
Let them use. You don't have like, these are the ones you can use.
Oh,
don't touch these ones.
Oh, I do.
And they used yours anyway.
Yes, they did.
So you're down to only 2 children?
I'm minus children. I walked into my 13-year-old kid's room and he has like 6 of them across the head of his bed. Like he just takes them to bed, drinks, and then just leaves them there and then takes another one. I'm like, put my freaking cups back downstairs. So anyway, I'm using this.
Sure you said freaking.
Big Bertha. I don't swear. Yeah, so I have this Big Bertha High Sierra. Anyway, sorry, go on.
That thing's massive. How many liters is that?
74?
No, don't 74 liters me, man.
I don't know.
Your shoulder would fall off.
I have no idea.
It looks like it's 4 liters.
It actually doesn't say.
Like you could never take that camping. It's too big. It'd be too heavy.
It's 64 ounces.
Google. Freaking American.
Freaking
Okay.
Americans.
How many?
Hold on, but it also does say. Oh no, 1.9. 1.9
is 64 ounces.
It should be 1.9.
It is 1.9. 2 liters, Justin.
I drink 3
now,
of
how
these.
is that 64? What a weird 64 ounces.
I know. So odd.
Come on. Hey, metric. All right. So
Back to your week.
You know how sometimes like the virus, like it gets into your muscles and like things
you
are
get
just so
achy.
stiff. It feels like there's like strings wrapping around your spine and it really hurts. So anyway, I have problems with my neck and spine and lower back already. So, that kind of stuff. It's just like, it's even more restricting and it's fine. But there was 2 days in a row this week. I couldn't take off my jacket. Like I already have such stiff shoulders that I can't bend my arms back. It's already quite a chore to put my arms behind me and take off my jacket with my sleeves. So there were 2 days where I had to keep my jacket on after I dropped the kids off from school. And then they had to help me after school to take my jacket off, which was quite funny. But that's almost gone now. I only have a tiny bit of sniffles. So that's good. I've been watching The Chosen. I think I've asked you about it. Have you seen it?
No.
It's so good. They have 3 out of 7 seasons out and 3 completed seasons. And it is so good. It's so neat. It's I can't believe how accurate it seems and the place settings and just everything they do for the culture and the setup. They just do such an amazing job. But it's taken in the time of when Jesus was around, and it's a story about following his followers, right? The chosen, that he chose to come with him. And so it's really cool having that perspective from the show from their perspective instead. It's really, really neat. So highly suggest it to people that are interested in that. I'm a freaking crybaby, man. Like,
yeah, I think you
almost
said
every single. Oh, did I? Sorry, I don't mean to repeat myself. Almost every episode, I'm just sobbing my eyes out. But we also played Age of Empires.
We did.
And that was awesome. It was
2
nice
times.
to play Age of Empires again. Yeah. So
we sucked so bad.
But I'm getting better.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I got better until I ditched the Ottomans. Until I played the English, like went back to something I
English are
made
great.
sense to me.
Bowman at the beginning, goodness me. Age 1.
Ottomans are cool because you auto create units, but I don't know. I need to practice with them more. I think the only reason I play them is because of the Great Bombard. That's literally it. And they're not.
It doesn't seem to excite you that much anymore.
Well, because literally you get 3 or 4 of them and you're fine. But I want an army of Great Bombards, and that's not really effective. But that's what I want. So,
but I want it.
I want it.
How was your week?
You know what? It was fine. It was fine. It's still, a bit of a shit show with work, and took Christine out for dinner on Wednesday just because of all the crap going on. So we enjoyed a nice evening out and just, it was, it was fine. It was fine. Overall, it was good. I had a really fun day, work related, because sometimes lawyers are pretty cool. Sometimes they can do some pretty crafty stuff. And so we had one day where I was, there was some excitement with that kind of stuff, but you know what? It's fine. Things are getting better. I have a really good friend who's going through some awful stuff with a family member, and it puts things into perspective pretty quick. When you're talking about people's lives, like, actual lives, work means nothing compared to that kind of stuff. So it definitely put it into perspective where things can always be worse. And I think I've mentioned that before too. Like you can't get stuck in it. So, otherwise, what did I do? Oh, I started playing, Hogwarts Legacy, the Harry Potter game.
And
it is so good.
Really?
Oh my goodness. First off, it's massive, like ginormously massive. And it's open world for the most part, but you follow a story, but otherwise you can do whatever you want. It's super good. It is so good. I'm not sure that you would like it just because of the camera movements and spell casting and stuff, like headwise, but yeah, it's awesome. Give me 1 second.
He peed himself again. He's got to go change his pants. So we're just going to wait here.
My apologies.
Welcome back. Yeah, no, that's going to be like 2 seconds for people listening,
else.
but
so just mark this 10 something. I walk away.
What happened?
Well, I guess that's another part of my week. I have 2 of my kids home right now sick. So
both of them. That sucks.
My 13-year-old and my 5-year-old. My 8-year-old she's determined she'll never get sick because she doesn't want to miss school. So yeah, so I've got I just all of a sudden heard a knock at the door, and I was like, what the? And then my 5-year-old's like, I heard a pop upstairs, and I'm like, what are you talking about? So anyway, and then the 13-year-old's just not out of bed. But yeah, so they're both sick, so they aren't at school today. Anyway, so Hogwarts, I think that's what I was talking about. It's very good. It's really big.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. I'm actually super impressed with it. I did not expect it to be as good as it is, and I'm having a ton of fun playing. I haven't had a huge amount of time to put into it, but it's just it's cool. Apparently it takes place 100 years before the story of like Harry Potter.
100 or 1,000 or something like that. Yeah, Harry's not a thing yet.
No, he's not. I had read on somewhere that it was supposed to be set 100 years before, but it's really cool. I think it's awesome, especially I do like the Harry Potter series, and it's really fun how they've built up Hogwarts and the different characters, and it's cool. I think it's actually really well done. It's very smooth, plays great. So
there's a lot of reading and selecting. Do you think an 8-year-old, like my son, can read like
he would love it?
Like in terms of how the directions and quests
there's very little reading. It's pretty like directive as to like where do you go, what do you do, and then you can also
appropriate for kids. Like you don't need. It's not made for teenager fans of Harry Potter.
I don't know what the rating is on it. It's not like gory or violent in any. I mean, there's spells. You're like throwing people around and stuff. I don't think so. And then you can also, there's like 4 varying degrees of difficulty. And so you can actually put it down to the story level, which I was reading online. Apparently, if you play the story version, it's very forgiving in the combat end, where you have much more time to react and think about what you want to do than on some of the harder difficulties.
Okay.
So Yeah, I don't. It's really fun. They use a lot of the spells that you hear them do, and you have to go to classes, and you have to like learn new spells, and things only unlock as you progress, and you only have access to a certain amount of spells at a time. So you have to think things through, and there's a lot of puzzles that you have to use different spells for to get through them, and it's really good. I was really impressed with it.
That's good.
So,
okay, well, I'll check it out for the kids.
Yeah,
thanks.
It's fun. Otherwise, week wise, that was it. It was fine. It was fine. I am feeling a little bit down though, like not emotionally, but just like my body is kind of run down. And I think it's been a combination of like the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, I'm sure
just sort
it
of
is,
caught up to me. So I've had a couple days where, like you were saying, a couple days this week where my body just was like, it ached. Like, and I could not. And I've had a nap. I had a nap this week, which I hate napping. It's one of the worst things in the world. And I had to have a nap one of the days this week, which didn't go well. I don't like them, but that just, I've not been like that for forever. So
sure. And it's also coupled with, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, but you just started being strict or caring about personal time management in terms of like, not with family, like you've always been really good at that with family, but with yourself, you haven't been. And with you starting that, it was maybe 2 weeks before all this hell broke loose.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's not like you have that practice down or that peace of mind of being able to separate stuff. So you weren't there yet, but keep it up if you can, because it will benefit you even if you don't feel like it is. I think you're doing a really good job.
I feel like we're getting closer to the tail end of all this stuff going on, and we're going away the first week of spring break with the kids. And so we talked about just actually not
they get
having
2
phones.
weeks.
It's so
we
stupid.
never had 2 weeks.
No, we got like half a day. You got like a lunch off. That was it.
That's right. So anyway, sorry. First week, where are you going?
We're just going up to the Okanagan, and nice. Christina and I talked about just shutting phones off, just not being on them, and just taking a bit of a break, because it's been a bit on both of us, and there's still stuff going on, and you know it's a lot. So yeah, that's our thought, is just to chill out for. It's only like 5 days. It's not a whole week, but it's just going away with the kids.
You're gonna miss race night,
in a pool. Will I? It would be. Oh yes, with us. Yeah, I would, because I think we're going like a Sunday to a Thursday or something.
So
I plan around our podcast. I do. Gotta make sure I'm back for Friday. Yeah, I will miss the race. Which I also am still loving those Monday nights with everybody is so much fun. I really enjoy them, because typically Mondays are a shit show for work, just because it's the beginning of the week, everything's nuts, and you're trying to catch up, and things are happening. So the evening is a lot of fun to just pull on the gloves. Christina laughs at me because she's like, "Oh, racing shoes are going on." Because
that's awesome.
I put my shoes on for racing. So,
and if you believe Justin when he says he doesn't swear, just
not in front of my
this
kids.
Isn't like a Twitch promo, but log into my Twitch when we're doing race night on Monday nights our time, and
I might swear sometimes on there.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and it's great.
No,
it's
I meant I don't swear in front of my kids.
For us to think that, you have to say in front of my kids.
Yeah.
For us to put that together.
Well, I don't.
Just details.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't actually have I don't have a problem with swearing. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it. I just don't think it should be the primary form of your communication. So, plus, if my kids say it, I'm gonna smack them. Just how
you just have a little smack and stick walking around with it.
That's right. Anyway, good week, but let's talk about some.
I'm glad you're all right despite it all. Good for you.
You too, bud. I'm glad you're starting to feel better. I was starting to think you were on your way out, but
hey, man,
that's good.
41. I'm on the way.
You can't
down.
Get a jacket off. Like, what's going to happen by 50?
Well,
you're just going to walk around fully clothed all the time. You're just never changing. Can't get my socks off. Everything just stays on.
Yeah, that's right. No, I remember when my kids were infants and we were still carrying them around a lot, that it was my doctor recommended me to get surgery on both of my shoulders, but we came out with a timeline, like, you know, so that wasn't Gimpton couldn't use either of my shoulders during recovery. We came out with a timeline for it, but then I postponed it, being like, you know what, like there's not going to be a point for me doing that while I need to hold my kids for so long. So let's wait until I'm a hands-free parent. My kids are older. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Are you going to though? Will you?
One day.
You should at some point.
Not as important as my neck and lower back, and my
just
head
get it all done at once. Just get you all in there and replace things. Just start replacing things.
Seriously, what's that one? Oh, it's an older show. I always forget it. Older show, but it has the new one, which is now old as well, had Jude Law in it. It was about people and Liev Schreiber, where people like they'll get a fake part put into their body.
Mm-hmm. Like a
robot
but then they
version,
can't
like afford it. Yeah, like just like a robotic
I do remember
version.
that. Yeah.
Oh, what's it called? I love the movie. I love the idea of it. It reminded me, and I think this sounds deja vu-ish too. So I probably said this before on the podcast, but then it reminds me of the cool political storyline. Yes, of Deus Ex,
for sure.
Where it's like, how are you still human? Depending on like how much you swapped in a row.
I literally wouldn't care.
Of course. Screw you, people. But no, not. Oh man, I always want to say Encino Man, but it's not Encino Man. It's Repo Man, because they would go and
take it
people back that couldn't pay it back. So where did that come from? Oh yeah, I do that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some Path of Exile. Who knows what time we're at, but you know what? You love us. Also, big thank you to everybody who rated us on Spotify and Apple this week. Love it. And also for there were a couple that actually wrote a review, and they were very kind. Loved them. I can't remember the one that I sent you in specifically, but it was a 5-star one that was joking about I don't remember what it was, but I loved it. It was awesome. So thank you.
Very much so. Very much. Thank you.
Didn't somebody actually say like, I'm going to go run? Oh yeah, I think it was on Reddit. That one made me laugh about going for a run to see how long before we start talking about Path of Exile.
That's right. See how long it was. Yeah.
So good. Yep. Well, let's just mark that down. That cough I'll take out.
For this episode, they're going to be around the 20-minute mark. So we have some concept art that was posted, and that's always cool to look at. Not really newsworthy, but I did like this one because the Gemling armor set is so power armor from Fallout.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I think it's so cool. There's something about that power armor when you would see that face, that helmet, and you don't know, right? And then like a new game was coming out or a new expansion, your mind would just be like freaking out. So yeah, love that one. That one gave me some goosebumpies. Did you check out any of the trailers? Path of Exile posted some old trailers.
No, I opened up the link that you put, but I didn't actually click on any of them. Oh, that's cool. They just went back to a bunch of them.
Yeah, they went back. I don't know what league Metamorph was, but if Metamorph was not before 3.5.
I'm just scrolling through the comments.
What does it say?
Do you know how I knew it was yours? Because there's a stupid emoji in it.
Yeah, my phone, I set my phone up to do like auto emojis for some words.
So annoying.
So it's interesting because on PC, I don't know how to do emojis when you're just replying on the Path of Exile form, but the form accepts the emojis from my phone. Mm-hmm. So again, PC sucks. Anyway, yeah, so it was neat. The first trailer they have is from 3.5 Betrayal, but then 3.6 Synthesis. Synthesis, eh? Good times. 3.7 Legion, 3.8 Blight, 3.9 Conquerors of the Atlas. That was an insane change. Huge change, because that's when you went from the Elder influence and Shaper influence. That was 3.9. Like, that's still a long time ago, but that was like an insane. That was probably just as big of a change as making the Atlas passive tree one big thing.
Yeah. You know which one would be a fun one to rewatch is 3.0.
Yes.
When they re-released all the new acts and stuff. I haven't seen that forever.
Funny enough, I've seen that a few times because I really like the Xbox trailer they did for that.
Oh, is it different?
Like, that was one of the Xbox reveal trailers that they did. Well, it was just really neat because they did the Xbox trailer like they were doing a new game trailer. Like, hey, check out this new game we're making, right? Because they were doing that. Was it new
to the Xbox at that point?
At 3.0, I think it was. This is when it came out.
Okay.
And so then you have like, so part of the trailer was, okay, here's magma ore bouncing along the ground. Now here's slower projectiles with it. And now you get a whole bunch more. But now you put GMP. And so they have that as part of their thing. But then they also have their kind of like epic style of getting you excited. And they have somebody jumping. What's that chest piece that has the ribs showing?
It's a foresty looking one.
No, it's like it's a unique armor set. Anyway, it used to be.
I know what you're talking about.
It looks awesome. It's like the skin is gone and you just see the ribs. And anyway, but then someone with a huge two-handed axe jumping. So Dominus is shooting at the person, right? And it's the one where the projectiles, like the spirits, the lightning spirits that he shoots at you, like a channeling skill. So you're looking at that from the side. Dominus is shooting those at the character, and the character's jumping over them.
Slow-mo?
So slow-mo with like the perfect timing of the music.
Awesome.
And the two-handed axe is way behind the head, and it's like jumping over the spirits, getting ready to smash Dominus in the face. Cool. Obviously, it cuts right when you want the splatter to happen. Man. Anyway, so good. So point is, I've seen the 3.0 trailer a few times because that's how I try and sway people to play the game.
Somebody watched that trailer and was like, I'm going to leap slam my way through this whole game.
That's right. That's right.
It's on the trailer. It's got to work.
That's right. And then there's the Metamorph trailer as well, which love that voice. I love having Tani as a vendor just for that voice, but I use Einhart for that because he's just so funny. But they didn't say what Metamorph was, so I don't remember if Metamorph was 310 or if Metamorph wasn't 3.4. It must have been 310. Anyway, it was really cool to see all those trailers.
Festus, the dude from the
Faustus, yeah,
Faustus. I want him in my hideout. Yeah, I would put him in. I did want to buy the pack with Kadiro, but I just couldn't justify it. That was literally the only thing because it's the highest level pack. I think it's actually the Gemling one, and I don't care about the like links above my head, and I don't care about that. Gemling armor is cool, but I feel like I've kind of hit a point with armor that unless it does something over the top, I just have too many of them now. More coughing.
I'll still need that.
You need what?
Oh, hey, sorry. No, let me get another. You call them lozenges. What do I call
that's
them?
what they're called.
All right. Well, let's stick with the.
I don't know, lozenger.
That's what I thought they were my whole life. Whatever. So anyway, I still really would love to have that hideout with the Atlas.
The Atlas one? Yeah.
That'd be so cool. But I never.
It's got to come out hopefully one day as just its own thing, right? I don't know. Maybe they don't.
Well, not for that. It would be different. They'd have to be different if they did it. Not saying it would have to be very different, but I think that would be one of the biggest sellers. You make that hideout $60, and I'll bet you people spooge over it.
Yeah.
Probably not the best word to use there. But yeah, I would never be able to use that on PC because I always guild hideout on PC. And that hideout to me, in my opinion, is pointless for guild because it doesn't share Atlas passive trees. I kind of wish it would show for whoever the party leader was. How
just the individual. Why can't it just be that I see mine and you see yours? Why do we have to see each other's?
Yeah, that's true. But even if it went just to the party leader, because then how the map device has that type of limitation. Not everybody that's in there, it's only the party leader. Well, same thing. So whether you're playing solo or not, if you go into the hideout, but I guess, I don't know. It'd just be neat if they could figure that out because then it would have so much more value to me. I still wouldn't spend the money at the top tier pack, but
yeah.
I definitely spend extra money for it as if it was its own thing. But yeah, really cool to see some of those trailers. They're about 5 minutes each because they have some of the commentary from CW as well in them.
Oh, cool.
And it's the original trailer that they had to get you stoked before they did the actual half-hour intricate explanation before Ziggy's interview. So I love seeing that.
Did all of those they haven't been doing the Twitch reveal since those ones, have they?
No, it was a COVID thing where it started.
I gotta take this phone call.
Bye. Hey Google, when does the regular season for the Blue Jays start? Starting against the Cards, eh? March 30th.
My apologies. Continue.
No apologies required. Hang on, I'm just trying to find a winky face here.
For what?
I'm replying to Ferrith.
Oh.
Feel bad because by the time I get to replying to people on Discord, the conversation's gone. You're not going to get a notification that somebody winky faced your comment from 14 hours ago. Or yesterday at 1:16, which was about 20 hours ago. Oh well.
Onward. So that's cool.
Yes, trailers.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Sorry, I was asking you actually, did they do the Twitch reveals that far back as Metamorph?
You'd have to do the math for how many more leagues was 2.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. Right? That would have been COVID started 2021.
Did they do it before COVID? I don't remember. COVID wasn't.
No, it was a COVID thing. I'm pretty sure it was because of COVID that they started it, but then it ended up being
such a good thing.
Yes, agreed. And we've had nothing but praise for it ever since they started it. But so COVID 2021 would have been 8 leagues ago. So maybe 312. So maybe just before this, or sorry, just after these posts. Cool. I seem to remember though, the last time they put out trailers before something, I forget what it was, but it was like foreboding something that was a big change, a big epic. Like, this is where we've been. Get ready for what's coming. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I forget if it was like they did that just before 3.0 or if it was just before, was it just before Conquerors of the Atlas? There was something, I don't know. I seem to remember like the last time they did like, hey, check out where we've come from. There was a reason for it, like the extra hype and the extra announcement. No, I can't. I remember thinking it, but I don't remember the timing of it. Anyway, sweet trailers. Cool. Check them out.
That's awesome.
Let's see. Grinding Gear Games is hiring, which also just encourages. I just love the responses. Love the responses. You got to move to Auckland, and people. It's so good.
I think I saw in that particular post they said that they would work with people to get visas. So
yep,
I guess
which is nice
because I know they can do it if they can't find someone local. If they can't find someone within New Zealand that can do the job, then that's how New Zealand works. I guess so
that would make sense. Imagine though trying to do that for something that doesn't really have prerequisites, like the last posting for just and nothing against the description, but you're looking for someone with a good personality that you can work with. That's a hard worker type of thing. Like at the end of the day,
there's not that huge prerequisite so it's like, or whatever.
You really can't find someone like that in New Zealand. You really can't. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So anyway, I love seeing all the responses when GGG posts something about hiring. Mm-hmm. Also. Triple G said Sanctum's not going core. I was wrong.
Right.
I thought the prospect of them adding specters. This is the second time I've made this mistake too. Them adding league monsters as specters or enemies as specters hasn't. I don't know the work that entails. It just seems like so much work that I'm like, okay, well, they're not going to go through all that for a temporary monster that's not coming back, but they did.
I was thinking it was going to go core just based off of how big it was on its own, but I am glad that they're going to make some adjustments and still bring it back, but it just won't be here right now.
Yeah, the idea is that they are going to hopefully bring it back, but there's lots that they need to change, but they were quite specific with some of the stuff that needed to change too. What were some of the things? Let me click on it here.
Well, they want to work on how relics work. It in general needs a rebalance. They want to add more content. They want to integrate it more into the gameplay loop, but so that you're not forced
to specialize into it as well.
Yep, which I agree with because that was my frustration is that it was like you couldn't go on and just Sanctum, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like relics, but I hope it doesn't go core.
Why?
It's the same thing to me like Blight. It just doesn't suit the game.
But then you just don't play it.
No, I get that. But there's also certain elements of a game that like, it can't, when you're making a game, there's the core game, right? Like there's the identity of the game. It's a role-playing game. It's about this, it's about that. Like there's certain elements to the game that make it what it is. And yes, we all like other genres, but you can't throw in all those genres into the same game, especially if certain items that are extremely powerful are gated behind that content that isn't that same genre, like oils, right? You throw relics behind something that doesn't suit the genre. As awesome as they would be at making a roguelike game or a tower defense RPG, those aren't games that suit what Path of Exile is. Sure, I know that there's people that love that content and there's people that get along well with the content and their characters or their playstyle suits it, but they're still very different genres. And that's, you make separate games for those. To me, that's what leagues are for. Here's something that's temporary. It doesn't normally suit the entire game. It's an awesome idea. It's sweet for variety. Check out all this cool stuff we're giving as a result. and now it's gone. Like, to add something to me that doesn't suit the actual genre with which you're playing to the core element of the game, and then have stuff gated behind it, to me that just doesn't make sense. That's what leagues are for, not the core game.
Do you say not suited to the game because they took on like the roguelike style and they took on the tower defense style? Like, there's stuff that's gated behind heist and delve and
yes, but yes. Now, the heist doesn't bother me. I don't like it, but heist doesn't bother me because the only different element to that game is there's a portion of heist that's hardcore. You can't die. If you die, you lose your stuff. And though that's like forced hardcore in softcore per se, but that still doesn't bother me because the game's still about survivability. But Sanctum's all about not getting hit. Like, I know it does allow room for being hit, but the whole mentality is not being hit. And that is completely different to how defenses work and so many trigger skills work, like cast when damage taken or cast when stunned. And I know people laugh at cast when stunned, but it's actually pretty rad. It has no mana multiplier and it's fantastic. So anyway, but like, there's that no hit element. And then there's the prospect of having like the tower defense aspect and reading, and then especially how they do the UI on console, and then that whole prospect just doesn't suit that, in my opinion. And I actually think GGG has done a phenomenal job of trying to make Blight work in this game. Like, I don't think you could do better than what they've done for Blight, but to me it still doesn't suit the experience of how you want to go in and play character that just destroys content. That's me. So I'm hoping, despite the fact that Sanctum was extremely popular, I hope that GG, from my perspective, doesn't get into the habit of, just because it's popular, putting content into the game. To me, I really want them to have a extremely strict, rigid line where it's like, it really doesn't suit the core mentality of what people come to Path of Exile for. So if you wanted to play it, that was Sanctum. Hope you played it. You had 4 months to play it. Now we're moving on to something else. And that, to me, now I'm starting to repeat myself, but that's what leagues are for. That content that doesn't necessarily suit the core game, but it's still a lot of fun. Do you care? Do you want it to go core?
I would like to see it come back core. I like relics and I don't mind that stuff's gated behind it. The only thing I would say is I wish, with regards to an adjustment to how Sanctum works, and I do agree with you to some degree, I don't think it should just be solely based off being hit. I think it has to be based off the defenses of the character. I don't know how that works, but it doesn't make sense to build a super defensive character and then be penalized in Sanctum. And while you can play Sanctum with any build, you have to play it way too much to get the stuff you would need to try and do it with a character that's not going to kill quickly or be able to kill from behind a wall or whatever. So I would like to see them find some way to, instead of it just being, I don't mind it being based off of this additional life bar, this brand new life bar, but I don't think it should just be straight up being hit. I think your defense should somehow play into that or benefit you or something, that if I make a character that's heavy armor, I'm not penalized because I am going to get hit. So I don't know what the solution is to that, but I do like Sanctum. I love the relics, and I'm fine with the gating behind it because it's not necessary.
Relics are so strong. They're not like trinkets.
They are strong, but they're not necessary. They are strong, but they're not necessary. They just aren't. That's a way if you're looking to min max or maybe adjust your build later, but they are not necessary to a build. Had relics forever.
They are different though, because they impact. They're like having an extra set of boots or an extra set of gloves. You can't socket anything in them, but it's like having an extra accessory. Whereas having oils gated behind Blight isn't necessary. You're not getting extra items. It's an extra notable, but you're not getting an extra item. Whereas this impacts your entire. It's an extra item.
Well, I mean, I could argue the same thing with regards to the oils, and notable is a massive deal compared to some of the relics that you could get, and the relics that you're going to get tend to be, you got to really sink some time into Sanctum, and I don't mind that. I think that's fun. It gives you a reason to play it, and I still don't think relics are necessary. Relics were an awesome boost when you found one, or trying to think of maybe a different build depending on which relics you got. But
I agree with you that they're not necessary, but I find them a lot
they're
stronger.
Awesome. They're so fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, I would like to see it go core, just different than what it is, because I loved Sanctum, but I did not like that. I felt like in order to enjoy Sanctum, I had to play a certain type of build.
Yeah.
And that could just be me. I get it. I get this. A lot of people were playing whatever they wanted in Sanctum, but you know, like there were Sanctum definitely went way left on some stuff with regards to like a no hit run. You know, like you have to do the whole thing without being hit. I get it that it's a cool challenge, but that is the stupidest thing in the world to me. I don't want to do anything where I can't be hit one single time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. Gonna cough just a sec. Write
Got
that
it.
down, Just. Got it?
I got it.
Right on. So last thing GGG posted here was because this league 320 Forbidden Sanctum got extended quite a ways. They have a whole bunch of events lined up for us. And those events, I mean, that's awesome. And those events are very different compared to what we're probably expecting or could even guess, let alone to what we've had in the past. And there are some pretty crazy ones here. Gotta say, unfortunately, the RAQ is kind of messy. Like they don't have a heading saying like end of 320 end of league events, and then the RAQ has a list of all the questions. Just in the general game, core game stuff, they have, can I play group solo self-found events solo? Like that's just in the normal Path of Exile RAQ, recently asked questions. Will private league templates be added to the list of general private league modifiers? Like that kind of stuff. Like it's dated, you know what I mean? Like they should have had a header saying 320 end of league events and then had all their lists of stuff, because now it's
connected to it.
Yeah, because it's not like this is something where somebody's talking about a specific skill. Like when Mark_GG responded to me last week about about the Reaper's melee tags. You know, something like that would go into the RAQ.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume, because then, you know, that's just global knowledge. But then this is temporary. Anyway, doesn't really matter. So weeks 1 to 4. Ruthless with gold. Now I haven't gone through any of these because typically I just like playing standard. I'm still like level 70 something with my Reaper, and I'm going to be like that for a long time. So I'm just going to keep doing that. So I haven't gone through this. So are you okay if I go through this cold?
Yep.
Or have you gone through them? Okay.
Yep.
Well, why don't you do this then, and I'll pipe up as you start talking.
Well, so it's the ruthless mentality, but now they've replaced they've added gold. So monsters and chests can drop gold coins. These gold coins are what you actually use to purchase things from the vendors. Prices at the vendors are all now based on gold coins. You still do get currency
They auto
items.
pick up. Oh,
Yeah,
they
do.
auto pick up.
Yep, auto picked up. You still get currency items like normal drops or whatever, but gold coins are now dropped in addition. So, but it's ruthless, so it is the ruthless mode. So it's not just like the standard whatever. It is playing in the ruthless mode. It's 4 weeks long, which is crazy long to me. It's an interesting idea. There's no sanctum in it. But
do vendors get more? Like more items to buy from or sell from?
I don't remember. I thought I remembered something about vendors, but they are also going to be releasing more information later on, so I'm not really sure. But they've said that it's for people who want to experience an easier version of Ruthless, which kind of makes sense because it is hard to purchase things from the vendors in Ruthless because your currency is so small.
I don't like easy Ruthless. I don't like
easier.
difficult. Ruthless is
fine.
ruthless.
The thing that's weird to me, and this is the same for all of the leagues that they're releasing, I don't know why they're forcing softcore on all of them. I don't understand why they're forcing people to play. Like, obviously, we prefer softcore anyway.
All these leagues are softcore only?
Yeah, they're not. You can't play any of them in hardcore, which is
Interesting.
kind of weird to me. I don't understand it, but I mean, I do understand for the one. There's one that makes sense to me, which is the friendly fire one. But yeah, this one didn't really make sense to me. So this Ruthless with gold runs through the whole 4 weeks, and then there's other events that will run as it's also running. So that's the gold one. They've got prizes, reach certain levels, same as always, which I appreciate them doing. If you get to at least level 45, you get a prize box, and they're very upfront about the fact now that you just get the one per account. So They've set it up front. So that's
you think if we win, they'll up it to 2? You think that's going to be a thing like last league?
I hope not. So anyway, that's the one that will run for the whole series of this weeks 1 through 4.
The whole month. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So then the next one is running from weeks 2 to 4. So it'll be a week in, but it will run through the whole rest of the thing, which is their asynchronous group SSF event.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. So I'll just read what the thing says because they even say it's a little complex, but once it makes sense, you'll understand. So each week we have a special type of event running, which we have described below. During that week, you can create a private league of that event type for free and then play with your friends for free. And then play with your friends to try to get the best time. The time is counted from when you make the league, not from when the week starts, essentially making each one a competitive group SSF race to try and reach a goal with exotic rules applied. The events are asynchronous because your group can have as many shots as you want that week and don't have to be playing at exactly the same time as the people you're competing against. At the end of the week, whichever group has the best time is the winner. These events are not run as hardcore events, but we do have a 1-minute delay before you can resurrect if you die. So they just to discourage deaths. Anyway, they have,
that would be awesome if that was all the time.
So here's the thing. I don't understand what the rules are, though. I don't get what makes you win. It just says here are the prizes for the events.
Well, I assume the private league, whoever's creating the private league has a list of goals that they can, exotic rules that they can apply to the league.
I guess so. I guess you'll see it when you create it. So it's an interesting idea.
That's really cool.
Kind of cool to play with your friends, I guess, if you want to just do it. I like that they're letting people create private leagues for free.
Group, solo, self-found, and free. Yeah. Crazy cool.
I don't really get what that means, group, solo, self-found. Just means like you're in the same server, I guess, or in the same private league, but it's still solo, self-found, I imagine. I don't really know. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, maybe you allocate people into groups, or you're randomly assigned into a group.
You know, what'd be fun with a group SSF is if you and I could play together, we could run maps together, we could actually run together, but the drops were always locked to you or me. Like they were always dropped to the player. You couldn't trade. If I dropped an item on the ground, it always stayed locked to me, and there was no guild stash, which meant we could still play together, but the drops were always our own. We can't trade them, but you could still play together.
Yeah, no trades. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, like so they've got like hideout statues for winning. But I guess that winning is across all of the private leagues that get created in that time. So
do you think GGG would make more money with private leagues if they made their private leagues
what, free? No.
I forgot what I was trying to. Well, no, I was thinking like if the private leagues were free to start, but then there was like the extra additions, like the extra people or the extra duration or whatever, if that cost, do you think that they would make more money because there would be more inclination
the basic level
to
though
start?
Is only I don't know, because the basic is only 10 days and 10 players, right? That's the base level. So I think what you would have is a lot of people that just create them because you can play it with 10 people. And I mean, having more than 10 people in a group to play, that's actually pretty high. I think most people play with way less than 10 people. So I think they could reduce price for sure and maybe get more of them. I think their prices for the private leagues are way too expensive, like way too expensive, but it is what it is. And then week 2, they've got
this looks cool.
Friendly Fire group SSF. This is something I will not be touching. This game is not meant for this mode at all. This is one of the silliest things, but it'll be funny to watch, I guess. So your goal is to beat Act 10 Katava, and god dang it, who's coming to my door right now? Get out of here. So your goal is to beat Act 10 Katava. It's on standard, so there's no ruthless, hardcore, sanctum, whatever. Again, hardcore's not out. You can have 5 different accounts, so you can play with up to whatever that is, 4 people. You do friendly fire, and you can't do damage unless you're near 2 other players. So you have to be playing with a minimum of 3 people. Otherwise, you just can't do damage.
And you have to be near each other.
Is
that nearby?
Who freaking knows what near means? And you hurt each other. And so minions are useless because minions will attack teammates. So you literally just can't play RF. You can't play minions. You can't play anything like that because you have to be nearby to an ally to do damage, but you're going to damage them with your skills. So
basically everybody go minions.
Then everyone just dies.
Then just see who's left standing at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, that's a really silly event, but it'll be, I guess, fun for some people to try it out.
Sure,
I
people
have
have
zero
a
interest
blast
in
with
it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then week 3 will start their Krangled passive group SSF. So this is you're trying to beat the Syrian Exarch and Eater of Worlds. Again, on standard, you can have up to 6 accounts in the league. Everything's voided on this one. And this one, the passive and the ascendance tree are jumbled. So minor passive skills, notables, keystones, ascendancy skills, and major ascendancy skills have been internally scrambled within the categories. So while a notable is still a notable, it's just a random one. All players have the same tree.
Have the same tree. So can you see what that notable is?
I assume you can see what you're
time?
picking. Because how awful would that be if you couldn't? If you picked a skill and then it like turned over, you know what I mean? Like it was actually, you just saw the back and then it spun around and you're like, oh, damn, I don't need that.
You can only see properties of passive or ascendancy skills that are adjacent to ones you've allocated. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, at some point, people are going to post the full tree, but that's still really, really cool.
Well, what would be interesting, though, is they said that all players have the same trees, but does that mean all players within that league? Or because it said this is the same situation where you're creating a private league. And so you can have up to 6 accounts in the league. So I'm curious if the passive tree is actually only for those 6 accounts.
Oh, and if they have another jumbled
would have
one
a different one.
Oh, that's a neat idea. Yeah. That would be neat.
So anyway, that'll be an interesting one to see. On console realms which don't yet support group SSF, this event will run as a regular solo SSF.
Oh, cool. At least they're doing it. That's really neat. Thanks, GGG, for
friendly
console.
fire ones only PC. And then week 4, Polarity Group SSF, PC only. Completion, have 3 level 90 players in the same instance. It'll be on standard. In this event, both monsters and players have polarity, which is randomly allocated between 2 values. You can only harm monsters that are in the same polarity as you. Rare and unique monsters swap their polarity when they reach low life. It will require players to cooperate in groups of at least 2 in order to be able to clear areas and bosses. Interesting.
So if you and I were to play together and I was polarity 1, you were polarity 2.
At one point, only you can do damage.
You would be dependent on me.
Yeah, and I'd have to wait for you to do your damage. Mm-hmm.
You got time. It's interesting.
They're interesting really ideas.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed.
I don't know that any
them.
really stand out to me, but it's fun that they're trying something different.
Yes, it is. And I'm impressed with how they came up with it. And the fact that they're coding that and all just for temporary stuff, I think that's really cool. I'm going to look
one
through.
Second.
Yep. Ready.
Man, we're back. All right.
I'm just going through the RAQ here and seeing if there's anything. All right. There's a whole bunch of them here. Let's see. Do you get notified? Oh, no, that's for reliquary keys, end of league sanctum events. Will the ascendant ascendancy be shuffled in with the skills from other ascendancy classes during the Krangled Soul Self-Found group event? No, the Scion class will not be available for the Krangled event. Does this confirm that the next league will start April 7th, Pacific time? Yes, it does. That's very specific.
So we got a month.
Can there be more participation prizes for the no, who cares about that? Why are there no endless style events? Doesn't matter. Why are these events so niche? Because. Why is there only one set Krangled passive tree for all players instead of getting a new randomized tree seed for each character? That's intentional that everyone gets the same tree so that everyone is trying to solve the same metagame. If it's popular, we'd like to run other variations in the future. And no, if you're playing in a party of 2, both players cannot roll the same polarity. You're guaranteed to be both, which I assumed. How are masteries going to work in the Krangled passive tree system? Mastery locations are Krangled, but the options are not. Will these private league templates be added to the list of general private league modifiers? We're keen to continue to augment the list of private league modifiers. Some might find their way to the core game in the future.
Interesting.
Can I play group solo self-found events solo?
I mean,
yes, but not the ones that are group required, like polarity and friendly fire. Is the Ruthless event voided? Yes. I love that. Just stick to your guns, GGG. Void them all. Void them all. You know what? When PoE 2 comes out, void all of our accounts. Let's all start fresh. Are there special items to buy from vendors with Ruthless Gold? In addition to regular items, an NPC in each town now offers items you can gamble for using gold, just like Gwenin.
Oh, interesting.
Will ascendancy nodes be reshuffled between classes or all ascendancies? They will be randomized across all ascendancies. So, for example, a necromancer could get a champion node. That'd be a really cool tree to look at just for fun. Like, I'm not going to play that event, but that would be a really cool event to just check out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, check this out, Just. What skills that specifically affect nearby allies, such as auras, work with the friendly fire event? But they didn't specify nearby in the response. Obviously. It was just like, what does it say? The actual mechanic of friendly fire in the event is that players are on different teams, which makes them enemies. This means skills that specifically affect your nearby allies, such as auras, won't work. However, a keystone such as conduit would work since it checks for nearby party members rather than nearby allies. So I guess party members doesn't. Yeah, there you go. Will Sanctum specific uniques be added to the core drop pool? No, but they said that already. So that's awesome. Sweet. Anyway, all those in the RAQ. And that's that. Hey, that's busy. So that's going to be a crazy month.
I wonder if in the group, what do they call it? Friendly fire one. I wonder if you can purposefully target can I purposefully shoot like something at you?
If you were on my team?
Yeah. Like if we're playing it together and I just fire fireball at you, I assume that's going to hit you?
Yeah.
Huh. So what we could do for fun is create one and just go into the very first zone and we just take trying off with a starter class and we just fight each other at level 1.
Isn't PvP already a thing we can do?
Yeah, but I don't know if you have to get to a certain point for that or not. I'm not really sure.
We should see what our survivability is like being a team with friendly fire on and link.
Zero.
Link skills.
What would you play? You
Righteous
can't play
fire.
A minion build.
Right at 16.
Okay, that's better.
Uh-huh.
You would die before me.
Zombie slam. I'm just thinking how fun would it be to have those link skills and think that would be awesome.
Yeah, but you can't play minions and you can't play RF. So what would you play
minions. It just doesn't work very well.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be so annoying if I have to kill. Actually, it would be a lot of fun to kill off your minions. Like to just kill your zombies. And then I would also use something to explode the corpses.
Well, imagine that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. And then I'm toast. Well, but think about that. Maybe there's like a cool combination where I could have minions and you could destroy them. Like I'd send them far away or something. But then you would destroy them and it would benefit you because of consuming corpses or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
or like on death effects, or I don't know, something.
The whole thing's kind of weird because you also can't do any damage unless you're nearby your party member. So it's kind of weird.
And what's nearby? Don't worry about
this. As I hold my fingers up.
That's right.
Yeah. Did you play much this week?
I did. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We haven't done that yet. Yeah, I did. Did you? No. Oh no, you were Hogwartsing. Yeah, I had some small leveling sessions. I was really into the... I barely even read my book because I was so into the Chosen TV show. And because the Chosen TV show seasons 2 and 3 are only on their website, they put out their first season on other streaming services, I guess, to tease you. But then, because it's done all just through support, like a GoFundMe. So I guess they have the other seasons on their website so that they can get their advertising in for funding and stuff. But yeah, so I was really into the show, but I did do some leveling sessions and I'm really enjoying my modified version of my Reaper Elementalist. I did switch from Sand Stance though to Arctic Armor. I know there's a lot of people talking about how evasion works with it and all that kind of stuff. And but I still like the benefits of attacks outside of nearby having less damage, and then also the opportunity to swap for more damage. But It was just that extra thing to think about. And I noticed that I was being stationary a lot in battles.
Sure.
And so I think Arctic Armor will just suit me more, especially because physical damage mitigation will be my biggest, not my biggest weakness, but because I have natural 80 and 79% elemental resists along with Bastion of Elements, that's so much elemental hit reduction already that I only have to focus on physical damage for the rest of my mitigation outside of dot damage. And so just Arctic Armor just suits that style. And having Arctic Armor do flat reduction to physical damage, it's not based on the same calculations as armor. It allows me the possibility later on of getting rid of determination once I get a decent amount of armor on my items. And then I could put on something offensive anyway, because that's 50%. So, before the reductions. So yeah, so I added Arctic Armor to the build, which I enjoy quite a lot, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I'm going through, and I think level 77 or 78, and I can go through T14s and 15s no problem for the most part. There's still a couple wonky combinations of things that are terrifying, but I don't think that's tier specific, because I'm going through and I'm doing bosses and everything else. That's fine. I think that's just, like what do they have, like a metamorph that's gone crazy, or I have essences fully spec'd, and sometimes those essences are just those combos, especially if they're tormented, which every now and then they are anyway, even though I'm not spec'd into that anymore. And then especially if you're fully spec'd into bestiary and essence, and one of your beasts is an essence,
is the essence, right?
Yep. Those are, I posted a picture that does not look terrifying at all. It took me like 15 minutes. Like, I'm a defense first character. I'm used to long battles, but that was a long battle where it was scary. Like, I died once, but I had like run out and then just run into them like, no, run away. It was like, I couldn't figure it out. And one sucky thing, like that was one thing we hated about Arch Nemesis, is you didn't know what was happening. Well, that's still essence. That's still torment. That's still bestiary. Those mods tell you nothing. And there's no actions for half of their spells. You don't know what's happening. All of a sudden, stuff just explodes from them, and they're not doing anything but walking. Like, there's no correlating action like Vol's Sweet tells in Act 4. You know what I mean? So because there's none of that, they're a lot more deadly, but not in a fun way. But they're still, for me, I'm still really enjoying the new respec of my Atlas going into bestiary and sticking with Harbinger. Not fully invest into Harbinger, but just the note to guarantee it, but then fully investing into Essence. I'm going to remove, I don't have the Orbs of Unmaking or Regrets to do this now, so I have to wait for the respec next month when the League switches to 321. But I'm going to spec out a Metamorph, and I think I'm going to go back into, what are they called? Is it Anarchy that's the strong boxes?
Well, I don't actually know what it's called, but I know
think
what you're
it's
talking
Anarchy.
about.
Anyway, I'm going to go strong boxes, but because then everything's corrupted, I'm going to also go into the clusters for Beyond. And then I'll get the currency slowly that'll help me interact with some of the nice corrupted drops that I get.
Cool.
So anyway, it's been a good week. Lots of Jesus, so not a lot of PoE time, but I'm super stoked for this. And every time my wife says that she can't hang out for the night or whatever, I'm just like, that's fine. I got some PoE. Like, it's always on my mind. So it's, I'm really excited. And I really like these kind of things. Like, when you have GGG's events that they're posting like this, it excites, like, these events don't interest me, not because they're bad events.
Tyler's just slowly dying.
Like, these events interest me, not like, sorry, they excite me. They don't interest me, but they're fantastic events. I think they're extremely creative, but it's because they're so creative and how they're able to apply that creativity to the game for something that's so temporary. That excites me for what 321 is going to be. What the kind of, like, sometimes we've been Debbie Downers about what PoE 2's experience is going to be like, because we think that they've, we get the impression that, they're not going to care as much as we want about the new player experience, or putting too much value into the campaign instead of end game or whatever. But when Chris says something along the lines, like when CW says, this is going to solve all your Path of Exile 1 problems, and then, just in case he misspoke, it's been like, are you sure? A few months later, yep, no, it is. Half a year later, are you sure? Yep, no, it is. When you see this kind of creativity, it's like, man, what what are they thinking? What's this like? I don't know. I get excited for it. I get more faith and hope about the stuff that maybe we've been discouraged about in the past, or even if it's unwarranted. Because if they have this kind of creativity for stuff that's so short term, how much greater will their creativity be for stuff that's going to be permanent and long term? Especially, it's going to be their new core foundation in marketing, right? So it's exciting for me. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, well, it's good to give people something for that extra month.
Word.
All right, we good? We're gonna wrap this up.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Forever Exiled. I'm Justin, AK Tags.
Tyler, Record of Days.
Thanks for hanging out for us, with us, and for us for episode 178. Yeah, if you're looking for more information, you can find it down below. We got a website, foreverexiled.com. We're on Twitter, foreverexiled82. We have a very fun Discord. Patrons, other ways to support the podcast down below. We'll catch everybody next week in 179, and patrons will see you tonight in After Dark. Bye.
Love ya.